On today's Minute Apes, not sorcery, science. He blinded me with science.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Todd. Banging your ears out there about science. That was Richard. And I say banging because did you see the panic in my eyes as that went on?
No.
This lovely board.
Oh, did I get too loud?
Oh, yeah. I all of a sudden looked over and I saw bam. And I was like, oh, shit.
You peeked it out.
Sorry.
All right.
Oh, that's okay. I'll fix it in post. It's no big deal. And then the funny thing was, then as I'm chasing it down, I'm like, shit, I got to hit the button to start the theme. And it's like, oh, my God. But that was cute. I like
Meanwhile,
that.
talking about the theme, I'm sitting here thinking about what quotes you're going to use from the future movies.
Well, this one has to be bow your head.
Yeah, and I think maybe for the Rise, it'll be no.
Oh, that's true.
I don't know what it'll be for the next two.
Don't say too much because he's
well,
not seen it.
No doesn't mean anything to him. He'll find out what it means.
Yeah, but at the same time, so I've even thought too. The bigger thing is I was listening to it, and it's funny you should say that because I was thinking is like I'm gonna have to cut one or two of these because there's only 38 seconds of the original of the main song.
You would take some out from the middle of the.
It'll probably take out Beneath.
Yeah. The last one.
The Cornelia scream is good and it's short. I may have to find it different from the original movie because that one's a little long. That's a weirdly long quote. So it is the trials and tribulations of saying, I'll write the music to it and then going back and
use a quote from every movie.
Yeah, and eventually you're like, it never stops. All right, so here we are at the end of the week. We are at minute 50. Sean, let's get to it. Tell me what's going on minute 50.
We start minute 50 with initiate and ends with Davidson saying, it's fair to call this hostile territory.
All right, here it comes. Minute 50. Marky Mark, the Funky Bunch, the Planet of the Apes.
What is that?
It's a messenger. Keeps an open frequency with my ship so I can talk to them.
Oh, it talks.
The radio waves.
Sorcery.
It's not sorcery, it's science. I have contact. Jesus, they're already here. They must be waiting for me. My messenger has a homing beacon that'll lead us to them. We're in control now. We're the 800-pound gorilla.
Who are you?
Captain Leo Davidson. I'm piloting the U.S. Air Force. Come from a planet called Earth.
Your apes permit you to fly?
Our apes live in zoos. They do what we tell them. I think it's fair to call this hostile territory.
As in minute 50, we have an Oberon's worth of apes and humans, 2 display pods worth of humans and apes, wild humans, Ape City minus those 2 poor wet gorillas, and humans on the loose.
All right, visually, we get to see Leo engaging with what we now, through this minute, will realize is not a tricorder, but a communicator. He initiates a signal. Ari plays around in the pack and pulls out a glow stick, which, hey, does she shake up before she breaks it? I don't think so, because I understand you have to shake those things up before you break them.
I thought it was break and shake. I think that's what
Is that what it is?
You break it and then you shake it.
Well, it glows the minute that she...
Well, think of it this way. It doesn't glow until you break it, so if you just shake it, nothing really is going to happen.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. But they go through things. We have back and forth between Leo as... And I'm going to say it now. I know how to act like Marky Mark. Are you ready? Every line you say has to be this. That's the way we do it.
Jesus, they're here already.
So going back and forth, everyone looks. Ari breaks the break and shake stick. Leo sees that there is a signal that tells him that they are already here. We see a bit of his butt crack hidden by the weapon in the back of his pants, which is a different kind of movie too. He says another snarky comment that I don't really understand to our silverback, and they then explore through the woods. So this is a communicator that he initiates. There's a convenient red button at the middle, because if we're going to do something, it's got to be a red button, right? Let's build a device that has a screen on it. You pull apart and it has all this other stuff except for one red button at the top, and you do it and it works.
Gotta click it twice, though.
So they're already here, really, is the opening bit of that's really supposed to excite us. Bless you, John.
Well, I mean...
Not that I need you to bless. But,
Not... Okay, so... Yeah,
Well, okay, he says it keeps an open frequency with my ship. It's been closed for a while. It clearly doesn't keep an open frequency with the ship.
could-
if it
been
keeps
underwater.
an open frequency, then why do you need to initiate it?
Right.
Yeah. Also, I guess he's given up on trying to find Pericles and that the other pod. It's just like, okay.
He's a monkey. Fuck
yeah.
him.
I'm just kind of surprised they're using radio waves. I mean, I guess it's the only way they can
No,
communicate.
sorcery, not radio waves.
I know, but but he says radio waves, and it seems a really
It does.
This seems like a really, really inconvenient way to communicate with a ship that's super far away. I mean, you don't know how quickly those radio waves will travel,
his
right?
Wi-Fi.
Well, you can't say satellite because you don't have a satellite orbiting the Earth. Or if you did, you could say it's a satellite signal. Why is this? How could it find anything here? And then that can lead to your end of the movie somehow, that these are all tied together. It's just stupid.
The immediate response from a radio wave potentially being somewhere different other than this. It's just anyway. But he says they're already here, which is how we know that they can probably communicate via radio waves that quickly. It's not sorcery, it's science. He's just so annoyed with everything anybody says to him. He's not.
And you would think for the guy that has the magic device in his hand, and especially someone that says it's going to change your life, he would be showing it to him. Now, the apes could be dismissive and go, great, it lights up. What does it do? It's radio waves. What does that mean? They don't seem... Why would he think that's sorcery? He didn't know what a radio wave is. He does. He's not even seeing.
Yeah,
all he's seeing is this action of opening it and closing
some lights
it.
coming on.
Oh, he's not even seeing the lights. You think about it, that's towards Leo. He's seen nothing. Why is this sorcery? It didn't shoot balls of fire out of it. It didn't electrify and send a signal up into the sky. It didn't do shit.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Luke Skywalker is not plussed by a lightsaber without turning
He might
it
be
on.
leaning on the content because Ari says it talks.
Yeah,
that might be why he's like, that's, but there's no real reason for him to say, I have contact. There's no reason for him to say Jesus. Jesus, they're already here. Why did he say? There was no reason for that kind of
and
exclamation at the beginning of that sentence.
That should be more of a, they're already here?
So, real quick.
Right. They're already here.
Like a question of, like, how could this be?
If anything, they're already here. Jesus, they must be waiting for me. That makes more sense.
That would work.
That would make a little more sense for that flow. But he says they must be waiting for me. Why didn't they come get you?
Yeah, why aren't they searching?
Then he should say, Jesus is already here. Why didn't they come get me? He needs to fucking ask that. He needs to have insecurities that the other characters see so that it makes him human. We've done nothing. There's nothing heroic about him. There's nothing human about him. He is simply a gruff bitch.
So the script has him saying, Jesus, they're already here, with Estella replying, you'd better warn them about the apes. And him going, better warn the apes about them. We're in control now. We're the 800-pound gorilla. And then Ari's supposed to go, who are you? And that's when he says, I'm Captain Leo Davidson. So this is at least a little bit of a better dialogue that they gave him here for this part. They must be waiting for me. But it still doesn't understand why they're waiting for him. The messenger is a homing beacon that will lead us to them. Okay. The messenger has a homing beacon that will lead us to them. So he assumes that they're on the surface, which gives me an explanation about why he's walking in a direction. Because I have no idea why he walks away.
The ship should be in outer space from what he knows.
Well, they must be waiting for me. That has the ability to find them. So he starts walking in a direction. I'm not sure why he's walking in a direction. Are we still going back to Stella's tribe?
Well, okay, so we go back to when he, the screen of the communicator triangulates, and when I say triangulate, literally, it's a triangle that forms around it. And most people, when they look at a compass and they see this is north, they turn towards the direction they need to go. We don't see him gauging like,
oh, I need to go this way. He just closes it up and says,
and hold it up and like that way.
He closes it and just starts walking.
Right.
Shouldn't he have it open, using it to lead him somewhere?
Well, then I also want to go to the thing about we're the 800-pound gorilla now.
That's a human phrase.
It's a human phrase that would have no relevance to them, and we've not talked about the weight of a gorilla for the silverback. And lastly, when he says that if you're going to say a zinger line to a person, do you not stop and go, we're the 800-pound gorilla now, and then walk?
Yeah, because
he just flippantly looks at him as he walks by.
Half of his lines are said as he's walking away. Half of this character's lines just like, I'm walking away from you now. I'm dismissing you the entire time.
That's why we don't like this character, because he doesn't connect or associate with anyone in his scenes.
I did want the silverback to go, 800-pound gorilla, we don't try to body shame Danny. Leave him alone.
Exactly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's no relevancy to it. It is his comment. And why doesn't the gorilla say, what? Question those kind of things. So bad.
So then he says, I'm Captain Leo Davidson. I'm a pilot in the U.S. Air Force. All right. So we know he's a pilot, not a scientist. We know that may be why he's so cavalier.
Which, again, go back to my idea of make him a pilot that's been disgraced and put in this research thing.
That's why he doesn't have any sympathy for the even Pericles that he was training. He seemed to have a little bit, but maybe that's why, because he's an Air Force pilot, not an actual scientist.
Hey, that's my ape out there.
Or an animal behaviorologist or anything like that. So as he's walking away, he says, I come from a planet called Earth, and your apes permit you to fly.
Well, so yeah, I was going to comment on that.
I thought we just realized that the apes don't have the ability to fly in this reality.
Not only that, he says, I'm a pilot in the U.S. Air Force. He never, at any point, he never said, I can fly. So how does this human go from pilot in the U.S. Air Force to knowing that means he was able to fly?
Correct.
Well, at any point when he was looking at the torn apart trees, it's down by there. Did he ever mention fly before?
Yeah, that's where I flew in.
I did that. My retro burners.
Okay. Did he say flew?
Yeah, he said that's where I flew in.
Okay. So maybe that's at least there, but I do think I thought the same thing. It is a very massive leap to your apes allow you to do that when you've already said they don't speak in monkeys
swim.
and they don't swim and these you've done everything to dress down and we've not talked about the oppressors of apes on his planet. That jump just seems like they're trying to say they oppress us. Yet again, we've not seen them oppressing these humans at all. They are treated as respected servants within a household. That is not,
at the worst, very loved pets.
Okay. Yes, no matter what, when you enslave something, that is oppression. But you, in a movie, you have to show it to me. You have to show why their lives here would be so bad compared to if they were on their own. And they've done nothing to that. The humans, nothing's really wrong with this except they get stuck in cages.
Get branded.
Estella looks a little dirty, but she's still beautiful. I don't see any, at least Nova, we knew that she was put in a cage to breed with Taylor. That's not only you caging me, but you're forcing me to breed. That's pretty damn steep. This is nothing.
So he then has to go to the side comment, our apes live in zoos. He didn't do the monkey mistake again, which
he's learning.
I guess.
He's an intelligent
they
creature.
Do what we tell them.
Characters should learn or not learn, and that should be their propulsion, but at least he's learning. Go ahead.
They do what we tell them. He's just a dick. He is just a dick. He's walking.
Again, for somebody who's supposed to be training apes, he is so mean to apes.
He's letting all of these people follow him without any care or concern about any of them. Remember, he wasn't the one who picked up the child.
Right.
He seems to have no relationship, no affection for Estella Warren, none for Ari. He's letting them follow him to wherever he's going. And I don't know why he's letting them stick around, because he's giving them no care, no concern, no compassion. He's dismissive of everything he's doing. Every line he says, he walks away from. He's now, taking Silverback and Ari down by saying, they do what we tell him. But what I'm most confused about is as he's walking, he says that line. Silverback has to growl at him and get in front of him. Like, he knows where the fuck he's going.
Yeah, where's that guy going?
I watched this and I watched this film, and as I'm listening to you talk about how unlikable this character is, we bitched about Taylor in the original film, that he was kind of a dick. This movie's making me love Taylor every moment. I'm like, give me Taylor back. Give me Brent. Give me somebody that has a reason. Brent saw the sweet innocence in Nova's eyes and cared about her and wanted to take care of her. Give me something. And they're not giving me shit, because all I think is if I'm going to watch Marky Mark, I'm going to watch Boogie Nights.
There you go.
If I'm going to watch Planet of the Apes, I'm watching anything but this movie.
I said that I really didn't mind this movie when I first saw it. I thought it was kind of okay. It was fun, kind of adventure movie, action movie. to watching the film and breaking it down, I can forgive a lot of these directions and choices and things like that, but it's coming down to how much I really just do not like his character more than anything, and that's what's hurts me about this, because we should be feeling something for him. We should care about where he is, where he's going. We should see him be concerned about these other characters. Otherwise, he needs to state that at some point that he does not care about them. I would almost rather him say, I'm going back to my ship. I'm getting off this planet. You can do what you want. If he said that, I could understand what's going on.
May I offer something? I told the guys...
Almost like this place is a madhouse.
A little bit. I told the guys that they know this, that I'm trying to make a movie, and there's one thing that I didn't discuss with you guys, and I want to use it as a way to illustrate this, is that we found a woman who... I found her on... oh my God, I found her on YouTube through like one of the big film channels, and they interview people in the industry. And she was formerly the lead script consultant for Lionsgate, and now she is somebody you can hire to break down your script. And what she did, we gave her our script, we paid her for it, and then she broke it down, and she simply said, here, one thing you have to remember is the things you have here. She's like, these are good, but if you took this and moved it here, this makes this character be about this all the way through. And what she talked about is every 30 pages has to have a reason for happening. You know, Leo has to go on chasing Pericles. Then he has to find his capsule. It's kind of there. But what he needs is an overall thrust. And this is one thing she talked about in our screenplay, was that the character has an overall thrust that gets him to the end. Leo has no purpose whatsoever. If this was, I have to find Pericles, he now has a reason for being so cavalier. I don't give a shit about y'all. This is my ape and I love him. I have to find him. And that's probably what should be propelling him, even though it is a bit of a, a red herring of sorts. It really doesn't have much to anything, but it's what gets him there. He has no reason other than he's a dick and he doesn't want to be here with them. And that's not enough of a reason. And I hate to be that way of breaking down to that point, but I think that's the problem with Leo, is he has no reason for his need to move. None. Other than I'm an asshole and I got to get away from you.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. I love Planet of the Apes. I love so many things about it. I think it's a great conceit. I love science fiction that does this. But this one, you saying you hate the character, it is really showing me when you don't think through, why am I flipping the world? To show, what are they trying to show me?
What is this movie trying to do right now?
I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish that, as we offer those kind of thoughts is, oh, well, maybe that's what they're doing, and maybe we can look for that. I don't know. I don't know what Thade wants. I don't know what Leo wants. Ari kind of wants to bridge the gap between the humans and the apes. At least get her, and everybody else is ancillary to that.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know why this house human is following around them.
No,
I don't know why.
shit.
There was a sense that we might be going back to Estella's tribe, but she's not even leading them anywhere. They're just kind of blindly following Leo as he goes, where?
Why isn't one of these characters to that point, as he moves on, saying, why doesn't someone say where he's going? I don't know, but I'm not going with him, and go against it? You see those kind of things all the time where it's Luke Skywalker, when he and Han Solo part in the Death Star, is like, and Han chases the stormtroopers and Luke and Leia go the other way. You do that kind of shit. Mm-hmm. Why don't we have that? Nobody actually saying, he's a jerk, I'm not following him.
Right.
And then maybe they need to learn that he's not a jerk.
He didn't offer them any hope. He didn't offer them any rescue. He didn't offer them any resolution to their problems other than getting the humans out from captivity in the city. He's not offered them anything. And they're just kind of following because I feel like they don't have any choice.
Right.
And he's not even he's not promising them anything. If I could hear him say that he can get them aid, or his ship can help them, or if he can just get in contact with the ship, he can help the humans. If he can find Pericles, that's his ultimate goals. He needs to save this, test subject that was going to die, and that's why he went out to go find him.
Yes.
And he needs to find him. If his homing beacon were to find, if he brought the homing beacon up specifically to find Pericles, and then says, oh my goodness, my ship has already tracked me here. Something like that to let me know that, okay, now I've got two options. We've got Pericles. He could use Pericles' ship to get off of that planet.
Ding.
Right?
Oh my God. More than they followed me here, it should be, if he's wanting Pericles, it should be Pericles is here.
His ship.
Following
I
him.
can get to a ship.
Yeah. We can get out of here.
Yeah.
And I kicked you in the balls earlier for what happens in minutes, but I'm just going to say it because that's kind of something that plays out in this film. It should be kind of at least getting us there. There is no hint that this is even a possibility that could exist.
Right.
Wow. Again, if you like this movie, please tell me why. Just please send me something and tell me so I can look for it. But for all the faults of the originals, they were still doing something that was unheard of. They were taking one idea and building a world upon it.
And they did. You think about the evolution of all the films and how we moved from, this idea that this is the future and what happens. And then we moved to this idea that we're now going to meet more humans that were underground. And then we now move to this idea that the earth is now destroyed.
And then
so
we
how do we bring
flip
this
into
franchise?
the past and
we go back to the past.
Right.
And then we start to build the future that we're going to see by the future film. I mean, even at its worst, at least felt like they had a great idea to move everything forward and evolve the story.
I mean, you think of and we're gonna. I think we're gonna talk a bit about what James Gunn and his partner are doing for the DC universe, and we're gonna touch on that in between. The reason that is requested is because what Marvel has been able to do, which is to say, how do we build a series of movies and that all can pay off in one massive event movie that's split into 2 or 3 movies, but still. How do we do that? And those films resonated deeply because they looked at everything they could do, every plot point that, we may not resolve it here, but think about it. In Endgame, we can put it here. You don't have that if you don't have these people saying, we can take one idea of a movie and we're going to evolve it and tell a story that actually tells multiple layers of it. I can pinpoint and say you could look at the studio, taking money away from it, and things are bad. Great. They still did something that was groundbreaking, and there's no question about it. This film is borderline pathetic because it is literally like a bunch of people didn't even research what Planet of the Apes was meant to be. They don't have a reason.
They just wanted people in monkey makeup.
I had thought that the Star Wars prequels and sequels were the biggest money grab in history. This may be one of the biggest money grabs because at least George Lucas was behind that, and at least the last ones were people that loved those movies. You could tell we're going to pull elements of it to work. They're not pulling anything outside the makeup that works from the original films. That's it. I don't see any other similarities than the makeup. Am I wrong?
No, because they're not even using any similar character names.
No, nothing about it. It's not the same world. It's not. You're not taking the same themes. You're not saying the same themes need to be explored in a different way. You're just putting people in situations so we can have monkeys. And I'm saying monkeys on purpose because that silverback can lick my butt. All right. I end this discussion for the week. We will be back next week. We will be back tomorrow with an in-between where we're going to have a little bit more fun. We're going to talk about things that aren't provoking us to say, wow, this is such an anomaly. Man, we watched the animated series, and I enjoyed the animated series much more than this. I really did. I thought the animated series had so much more potential.
Had more life in it.
It did. 100%. That's it. I'm done. We'll be back next week. Everyone, have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Come